Hey, my name is Olga. I'm co-founder of Meta Startup Studio, and this is the 100K Academy where you learn hyper-practical ways to start, run, and grow a purpose-driven lifestyle business. And today specifically, we're going to talk about how you can turn off people and scare them away, even if they already decided to buy from you. And this actually happens more often than you would think, because a lot of times people come on the sales call, they saw some communication from you, right? Like you were talking about your coaching package or your program that you're selling right now. People dropped you a DM, they're interested, they booked a call with you, they come in on the call, and nobody, remember this, nobody ever comes on a sales call if they're not ready to buy. Because nobody spends their time jumping on a call with someone if they don't actually want to buy from this person. So if people didn't buy by the end of this call from you, it's your fault. And I don't want to discourage you in any kind of way. Actually, I want to empower you, because this understanding and acceptance of the fact that we are in charge of the sales conversation, we are in control of sales conversation. It's our behavior and our actions and the way we talk and communicate with the client who came on the sales call defines whether they buy from us or not. This is actually a very empowering feeling, because if we are in control, it means we can steer it, it means we can change it, it means we can guide the client to a decision to buy from us. Okay? And by the way, whenever the client comes on a sales call, your main objective right here is not to get them to a yes. This is very important to remember. Whatever you are doing on a sales call is not to get the client to say yes to whatever coaching package or program you have and that they buy from you. They're not an ATM. You're not just withdrawing money from them, right? They're actual human with the actual problems, and you are there to help them to make a decision whether your coaching package or service is the best for them or it's not, right? You're helping them to make a decision, to make a yes or no decision, which is the best for them right now. And you can't know what the best decision is for your client. You can't know whether it's really the best decision to buy from you right now, right? Maybe if the client is in a massive debt and in the course of conversation you understood actually buying a course from you right now would be not the best solution to their problems, you must tell the client about that, right? Because it's not about you, it's not about pushing their down their throat your coaching program or service, but it's about really helping and supporting the clients to make the best decision for them right now, right? The client might be also not the best fit for you, right? Or the expectations that they have of a program might not be fitting what you're actually offering during the program, right? So your task and your goal during the sales call is to find out, right, whether the client and their problem and their situation is a match to whatever you are offering, right? Coaching is selling and selling is coaching, but you are coaching client on a sales call, not on their whole life, but you're coaching them on their decision to buy from you. Okay, so you're helping them with your open-ended, curious questions to make the best decision for them. Yes? So basically, if the client came, right, and we have this assumption that they're actually already ready to buy, but maybe they have some questions, right, about it. So everything that you are doing in a sales call, it's actually shut up and listen, right? You ask them questions like, hey, what brings you to this call together with me today? And let them answer this question first. And they will be telling you yeah, well, I saw this communication that you posted about this package that you're selling, and I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Awesome, super happy that's you made it here today. What questions do you have about it, right? Let them ask the questions, answer the questions, and make sure that you are really being present with the client at that moment. And that's why I actually really am against the sales scripts, because I think and truly believe also from my experience that they take away our focus from the client onto something else, right? As we're reading the sales script somewhere there on the other screen, we're losing the touch with the actual human in front of us. So if we just assume that we as coaches are able to coach anyone on anything, right? As you know, we can also coach them on their decision to buy from us. So we can ask curious, open-ended questions, right? And guide them through this conversation. So if the client is listening to you and you are noticing that you are talking too much, that their body language is clearly showing you that they are maybe distracted, like they're like glancing somewhere else, right? That maybe they are, I don't know, like retrieving like somewhere in their chair and they're going kind of like away from the camera. It means you are losing them. So in that moment, instead of just continuing talking about your service or about your product, like you just need to stop and re-engage the client. You just need to give them the stage to talk again. Like you can just like simply ask them like, hey, like I've been talking for quite some time now. From everything that I said, like what stands out? Like what are your thoughts about what I just said? Like is it clear what I'm explaining? Do you have more questions about that, right? So you can ask them different types of questions, but bring the conversation back to them. Let them talk. Some of my best sales calls, and like I have the closing rate on sales calls over 90%. So I'm a really, really good closer, actually the top closer I know. And my best sales calls are always the ones where I maybe talk 5% of the time. And for the 95% of the time is the client who's talking. So let them talk, ask them about their specific situation, like what specifically would they want to accomplish by working with you? Why is it important for them to actually do this step? Like what concerns, if any, they have? What questions, if any, they have? Like, what are maybe like any of their like insecurities that's come up like in regards to what you are offering? So ask them all these questions, help them to sort out through that. And also remember that objections are the normal reaction of our human brain. Like we will always have objections. Your customers will always have objections, right? And they will like try to convince themselves that maybe, it's not the best time to invest right now. Maybe it's too much money. Maybe they're too busy. Maybe it's like not the right moment. Like our brain will always come up with those things. So whenever the client presents you with that, instead of just like backing off and like just settling with like whatever they told you, you need to dig deeper. You need to get curious. Like if people say, hey, like this sounds like a lot of money, you can even agree with them and say like, yes, it is actually a lot of money. Like, but like, what was the price that you were expecting? Like ask them questions back, like find out what does it mean a lot of money? Why they think it is expensive? If they say like, oh, like it sounds like it's gonna take a lot of time from me and I'm actually really busy right now, and you'll be like, what does it mean a lot of time? Like why do you have this perception that it's gonna take this time? Like, and even if it does, like what happens then? Like what would be possible if you actually like pull through with this? Wouldn't it help you to free more time? You can talk and engage in conversation, ask them all these questions, and it's totally normal, right? If they present you with the objections, just dig deeper from curiosity, from desire to understand how their brain works. And one of the ways how we usually lose the clients, like who already came ready to buy from us, is talking too much. When we like have all this focus on ourselves, that we think that we need to present our program or our package, we're talking about all the like little details of it, and parts of it might be really not relevant for your customer, right? If you really listen to them, if you ask them all the questions, you would know which features of your product or service to highlight to them, which would be the most valuable, which would be the ones that would really fit them and their situation. So being present with the client, really listening to them, asking them questions, digging deeper, and then taking this information in order to highlight what is specifically in your product or service is kind of catered to solve these specific things is the prerequisite for your success on a sales call, right? So if the client tells you like, hey, I don't know, let's maybe take like our own example again, right? Like the clients who come on a sales call and they want to buy, for example, Get Clients Bootcamp. So this is the group program where we teach people how to sign, like how to get their first paying clients in the door, right? And for example, the person tells us like, hey, I'm still working full-time in corporate. I'm not sure like I can really dedicate the time. Like you can tell them like, hey, like I understand, of course, like it is very, very tiring and you are very busy. I understand this. And that's why the program is specifically structured for that, right? It's designed specifically for people who still work in corporate. So you will be spending about 1 hour per day in order to complete this course, right? So 1 hour per day, like maybe it sounds still a lot to them, but then we can discuss, right? But I can highlight it to them. Like, actually, it is designed specifically for this type of people, right? If people tell me, like, oh, but I'm really like feel uncomfortable with sales, I can give them comfort and say like, hey, actually, like, we'll teach you, like, we'll give you the sales trainings. We will simulate how the conversations can go. We will explain you how to behave and what to say. We'll give you the scripts of how to reach out to people and how to get them like on the calls and how to interact with you, right? So like we'll give you the prompts for the post to post on social media specifically for your niche and for your package, right? So I can give them all this comfort to buy by highlighting the features that we have for the specific issues that they highlight to me, right? So be very present, very, very attentive, ask open-ended questions, and create a lot of this comfort for people, create this safety, right? So every time like the client gets defensive on the call, right, for whatever reason, like if they say like, hey, like, like I'm really busy, and you're like, no, it's not that bad, it's only gonna take you this and that, and the client gets like defensive for some reason, like release the reins, let the client lead. Find out why they are irritated, right? Don't try to push and prove that you are right and like still your product is the best, even though they clearly showing you that they are agitated. So a response to that, right? Don't argue with the customer. Just get curious why like it's coming up. Where do they feel unsafe in regards to the process or the product that you are offering, right? If they are telling you like, hey, like I'm not sure, I might be like very special, like to other people, you can give them the comfort, but saying like, no, actually it's very normal. We have a lot of clients like this. They all hate sales and marketing. They all feel very uncomfortable. This is actually very common. It's actually very normal. And we deal with this every day, right? We have the experience, we have the knowledge of this type of specific situations. Like we'll definitely like support you with that because we have this experience, right? So constantly giving this safety and comfort for the client to engage with you, feeling like they are understood, that they're seen in their concerns, like they're seen in their like issues that they're bringing, in their insecurities that's maybe popping up, is very important in order for client to feel safe to buy with you. And if you're not creating this safety, the client might say something like, okay, it all sounds good, let me think about that. And if in this moment you just let the client go away and think about it, you're most probably losing the client. Because if they say, let me think about it, most probably they still have objections that you haven't answered. Maybe they still don't see how your product or service gonna really help them. Maybe they don't trust that you are the expert, like the exact expert to help them. They don't see how your process is gonna take them from A to B, right? So instead of just letting them go, you need to dig deeper again and ask them, hey, what concerns, if any, do you still have, right? Let them talk about it. Maybe they misunderstood, like in the way how you explained how actually your product or service is going to help them, right? So these are all the ways, not listening, being focused on yourself and just delivering, like all the information about your product or service, having like some sales script instead of being like just present and focused on the customer, not answering their objections, like backing off the moment they say something, not getting curious, not allowing them to express their concerns, not validating and acknowledging that their concerns are valid, and giving them the safety and the comfort to buy from you, are all the ways that you can actually repel the client who came genuinely ready to buy from you, but maybe having a couple of questions like that they wanted to ask. So always remember, whenever the customer comes on a sales call, they're ready to buy. So act from these premises. And something else on top of that, the last thing is that we always need to feel in sufficiency. And this is something maybe a little bit less tangible. However, always thinking like, even if I don't have cash on my bank account right now. Even if I need to pay my bills, even if I really depend on signing this customer, like I can't allow this very cleany energy to show up, because if I do this, like, you know, like really like being like very, very cleany, very like insufficient inside of myself, the client will feel it. They will feel it and they will run from this energy, right? So the more sufficient, the more calm we are, the more we think that actually like I'm not here to like withdraw this money from the client. I'm just here to help them to make the best decision. The less salesy, the less weird, the less uncomfortable it will be both for you and for the client. If you can find inside of yourself this feeling of sufficiency, because in this very moment no threat of financial insecurities happening to you, it's just you and this person, this human in front of you, and you genuinely want to help them to the best of your ability, how would you behave, right? How would your approach to this change? If you stop thinking about like, oh my god, like how I can make it the most, you know, compelling for them to buy from me, how like I gonna bring this across, how can I tell them like all the like features and all the amazing things which have been in this program. If you just forget about all of this and just being there present with the person, really wanting to help them to the best of your ability, how would you behave, how would you show up, how would you guide this conversation from the place of sufficiency rather than feeling extremely insufficient and very clingy and very needy in your energy, right? So this is very, very important for the sales calls. Imagining like we have a line of clients queuing up to work with us, and it doesn't matter whether this specific client gonna say yes or gonna say no. We're just gonna help them to make the best decision for them, and then we're gonna focus on the next person in line. This is the energy with which we come on the sales call, with which we guide the sales call forward, being curious, asking open-ended questions, and making the client to make the best decision for them.